What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a sit right here, listen to me talk type of video. I try to do these once a week if I can, but I really like these because they're super valuable. It's like 20 minutes, you just listen to me talk, and it's just all this value packed into one video. And just a shameless plug for myself. If you guys aren't listening to the podcast and you like these videos, I feel like you guys would really enjoy the podcast because the podcast is literally just listening to like 30 minutes to an hour of talking about a topic and just really diving deep into it, talking about it, answering a lot of questions. And if you guys like these type of videos, you'll probably like the podcast. It's just basically the same thing without having to look at my face, so it's better, right? So if you guys are interested in the podcast, you guys can find it in the link in my description box. You can go on iTunes, SoundCloud, along with Google Play, and just type in Bucci Radio, that's the name of it, and check it out. So I hope you guys check it out. And for those of you who do love it, I love you guys so much. If you guys saw my last YouTube video, you saw that I had an untracked meal. I'm currently in a cut. I just had a meal that I didn't track. It didn't fit my macros at all. I technically cheated. A lot of people recognize that type of meal as a cheat meal, but I absolutely hate that term. We're gonna get into that in a little bit, but I just don't like the term cheat meal because I'm not cheating on my diet. I'm just, because cheat has like a negative connotation to it, right? So if you say you're cheating on something, it means that you should feel guilty about it. But when you're having an indulgence or like something that's fun, like a treat meal, like you're treating yourself, it just feels a little bit different and you don't really feel guilty. I don't like anyone to feel guilty about what they're eating. So I like to call it a treat meal, and that's a better way for me to look at it. But cheat meal, I put it in the title. It's better for searchability. Those people that are looking for cheat meal information will hopefully find this video. So before you do anything, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. It just helps spread the good word of all of these important videos that a lot of people I think need to hear about. It really just helps like spread the information better. So make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up, and then we're gonna get into a cheat meal, treat meal, untracked meal, free meal, Q&A. I asked you to ask me some questions on my Instagram about it, and I want to cover all of that stuff in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first question that I wanted to address about cheat meals, untracked meals, we're gonna call them treat meals for the purposes of this video, so I don't have to like say every single one of them. But one question was, do you have to track your macros in order to reach a fitness goal? And no, absolutely not. And just because I call it an untracked meal doesn't mean you have to track all the rest of your food in order to reach your fitness goals. However, if you guys have been following my channel, you know that I am a promoter of flexible dieting, and I think that tracking your food and your calories is the most efficient way to reach your fitness goal in like a scientific manner, because you have all these variables and you know how to control them and then change things in a small way that make a big impact. So you don't have to go crash dieting and basically like shoot a dart into a bush. I don't even know what the saying is. That's probably not the saying at all. But regardless, it just helps you feel more in control. Some people don't like tracking, and that's totally fine. There's so many different ways to go about dieting and reaching a fitness goal, and tracking your macros is one of them. It's something that I do and I like to do. It makes me feel like, I like the consistency of it. It makes me feel like I'm giving my body like enough food. Sometimes you feel like some people don't eat enough food, so if you're tracking your calories, you have to make sure that you're eating enough for your body, because your body, sometimes you don't really know. It's hard to eat intuitively, I think. So no, you do not have to track your food in order to reach your goals. There's so many different things that you can do. You can just make healthy choices. Start by like making healthier choices and getting something that you feel like is a better choice at a restaurant. Like there's so many small changes that you can make before you even consider tracking your food. So answer to that question is definitely not. So for those of you who don't track your food, this is definitely going to be considered an indulgent meal, something that you wouldn't normally have on a day-to-day basis, because you know it's something that's probably higher calorie and it's going to like throw you off track a bit. And then for those of you who do track, it's going to be called an untracked meal, because it's something that like definitely doesn't fit your macros. It's probably never gonna, unless you're a guy and you can eat a lot of calories during a day and you can fit in like a burger and fries into your macros. I know I certainly can't, unless I just don't eat anything else the rest of the day. But for those of you who do track, it's something that likely doesn't fit, but you still want it anyway, and we're gonna talk about that. So one question I got, I'm gonna read off my computer. Sometimes we need an untracked meal with dessert. Being able to estimate and knowing how much you're going over is hard not to think about if you know what macros probably are in it. Or what are the guidelines for picking an untracked meal? So let's look into some options that you can do for choosing an untracked meal, something that's gonna help cater to your goals, but you still wanna have this meal. So the first option is you can have a meal that like closely fits your macros, but like you can kind of macro hoard till the end of the night when you have that meal, but it still kind of fits. It might put you a little bit over, but it's not like that out there and indulgent. I used to do this a lot back when I was like first tracking macros and I was like really strict about it. I was on prep, and then even off off of it, I wanted to reverse diet like exact properly, I would fit in like donut ice cream sandwiches, and I would track like 76 grams of carbs and like 23 grams of fat, and I would just fit it into my day. And it was great for me at that time because I wanted to learn how to do that, and it was great for me at that time. But you definitely don't have to do that. That's just one option for you, but that's definitely gonna be the one that's gonna keep you the most on track. So the next option that you can do is you can just go completely overboard. So you really want the burger, the bacon cheeseburger with barbecue sauce, the bun and everything. You want all the toppings, all the sweet potato fries, and you want a Pizookie after it. And like, that's just what you want to do. And you know what? That's totally cool. And that's definitely going to put you like a few thousand calories over your allotted calories for the day. So repercussions for that we're gonna talk about after, but that's definitely an option. Like, some people truly just want and need that, and that's something that like fits within their lifestyle. That's something that their friends do quite often, and that's something that's like, sometimes you just can't get away from that, and that's completely okay. And sometimes you just don't want to get away from that. Again, that's completely okay. And you know what? This is honestly like human nature too. Like, when you're in a caloric deficit and you're dieting, our hunger hormones turn on. So our bodies get hungrier, and we just want more food because we're in a deficit and we're not eating enough. So it's very normal to feel like you want to eat all of it, and like your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Like, I want this and I want this and I want to eat it all right now, and I can't have anything else for like the rest of the month until my next one, so I might as well fit it all in right now while I can. And you know what? That's like a normal feeling to have when you first start dieting, especially, and you don't really have a whole lot of practice with being in a deficit. It's normal to feel that way. And you know what? Sometimes I even used to say to clients, like, just do it and see what it feels like the next day, and then like see how long it takes you to bounce back, because that might just teach you truly like how much it's worth it to you. Like, is the repercussions worth the pleasure in that moment? Like, that feeling of just eating like everything that you want in the moment, like, is it worth like you getting off track for however many extra weeks you were planning on being in a cut? It's just really truly up to you and like what you feel like. But I sometimes think that even like making that association after you actually go through with it and like learn from it is a really good thing. But honestly, that's why flexible dieting like changed my life completely. I used to just be a clean eater, and I would only eat a list of like 6 foods. And then by the time I was able to have a little bit of freedom, like that little tiny bit of freedom, a small bit of freedom would like my mind would just be like, ooh, I need everything. But with flexible dieting, I feel pretty satisfied throughout the week with the foods that I'm eating, and I feel like I like everything that I eat, and I feel like I can fill myself up with foods that I like a massive salad that has like a bunch of stuff in it that I really like. Like, I don't have to restrict myself to just having like lettuce and chicken or whatever, you know? So I can like enjoy, or you can too, enjoy like what you want during the week, so you don't feel like you need to have every single thing in the entire world on your like untracked meal or cheat day or whatever it happens to be. That's why flexible dieting personally changed my life, and that's why I preach it and I love it so much. But again, it's truly up to you and your individual needs, wants, goals, and your lifestyle. And the third thing that you can possibly do is to have something moderate. So what I like to do is have something medium. Like, I can't say can't, but I like to, if I'm gonna have an untracked meal, I like to have something savory and sweet. Like, just having like a burger and fries doesn't really do it for me. Like, I like want the extra dessert, but I know that it's gonna like put me over a little bit more, and I know in my head that it's like plenty of calories. But some things that I do is I have the burger and fries, and I'll just take the bun off. Like, I don't really need the bun, honestly. Like, just like the meat and the fries. Like, honestly, just the fries is fine, actually, because I really like sweet potato fries. And then having like some sort of ice cream or cookies or whatever, that's not like that much, but it's like just enough to like keep me full, make me feel really good, make me feel happy on the inside. It's like good for the soul. And at the end of the day, like, nothing's gonna fulfill your cravings more than actually eating the food. Like, if you just say to yourself, like, you know what, I'm gonna have my food, I'm gonna fulfill my cravings, and I'm just gonna eat it and be done with it. Like, you can't say that like those stupid Pinterest charts that are like, eat celery instead of chocolate if you're craving chocolate. Like, that's not gonna fucking work. Just saying. So I think the reasoning behind that is that the more whole foods that you feed your body, the less that it craves artificial sweeteners and sugar and stuff like that. That actually is a thing. Like, I notice that I crave less bad or unhealthy or like higher calorie dense foods when I'm filling my body with like vegetables and fruit and like healthy fats and stuff like that. Like, I truly do feel that, and that truly is a thing. It's real. But at the end of the day, if you're craving something and you're in a deficit, like, it's really not the end of the world to just go eat it, but plan for it. That's what we're here to talk about in this video. So what are the repercussions for going over your macros, eating an untracked meal, going over your calories, whatever. What are the repercussions? What happens? And what do you do about it? This is like probably the biggest question that I got. So obviously, this might not be the answer you want to hear, but if you're going over your calories, like if you usually eat like 1,600 calories and like in your deficit or whatever, and you end up eating 3,000 calories, you're eating like an extra day's worth of calories there, and that like might slow you down a little bit, might like slow your progress for like the next week or whatever. Obviously it's dependent too on like how many extra calories you eat. Like if you've ever seen 10,000 calorie challenges, you definitely like put on fat. If you go to Stephanie Buttermore's, actually, she has a really good video after her 10,000 calorie challenge where she did retain a pound of fat afterwards. So if you think about it that way, like at the end of the day, like the constant overfeeding is what puts on body fat. And yeah, like going over one day might pull you back a little bit, but like it's not gonna kill you, honestly, and it's really not gonna de-progress you that badly. So what I'm personally doing is that I knew in my head that I have 5 weeks left of this cut, right? That I have planned anyway before I like reevaluate and see where I'm at. I knew that like I'm kind of like at a little stall. Like I know I have to drop calories. I haven't dropped calories at all in 7 weeks. Like I've added cardio and changed my training a bit. And then I added a low carb day. So I had 3 low, 1 high as my cycle, but then I changed to 4 low and then 1 high. If you wanna watch my carb cycling video, I reference that again later in this video, but if you want to watch that to learn about that, it's linked up somewhere over here. But regardless, I haven't actually dropped my macros this whole time. So I know that I have to do that, and I really didn't like want to yet, but it's 5 weeks left until I reevaluate. So I knew that like mentally I truly needed this free meal to like mentally reset me and like allow me to like push harder and feel good about it and feel excited about it. Like I truly feel rejuvenated and remotivated. So that's why, like that's my mindset on why I decided to do it. So what to do the next day? I always say that like it's not, unless you're dieting for a competition, it's not totally necessary or recommended, honestly, to like have the thought in your head that you're guilty and you have to punish yourself by under eating and doing cardio. Like that's not a good thing to feel and think after you enjoy food that's good for your soul and you made that decision and you were like, I'm gonna do this because this is what I want in the moment, and then you feel really guilty about not being disciplined after or whatever. Honestly, just like plan for it. And in your head, just say, you know what? I planned for this, it's fine. The next day, get just right back to your normal eating habits. Like you don't have to try to undereat or try to over cardio, especially if you're not in like a good place mentally with food and dieting. I really struggle to like give advice to those people because depending on like your situation, you might need to see a specialist or something. However, I do recommend that if you are in a good place mentally, it's not a bad idea to add in an extra cardio session that week. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna add in like 1 extra cardio session this week. I did it yesterday at the gym, so I felt good about that, and I just made that decision. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do like a small bit of damage control or whatever, but not stress about it. I'm not trying to like match the calories that I ate with how much cardio I did to like negate it. Like you should not even think that way. Just don't do that. And let's be real too, like we all know that if we're eating foods that make us feel lethargic and tired and they're like full of oil and like saturated fat and like just stuff that we're not used to, our bodies don't really feel the best running on. Like we know that our fueling foods make us feel the best. So you might feel like lethargic and tired the next day, and you might be a little cranky and hungry and like puffy and inflamed and stuff like that, but just get right back to everything the next day. So another question that I got is, why do you wake up hungrier the next day after you have a overfeeding, like a bigger meal? And the reason for that is because your body is actually just like working harder to digest the more food. So it's used to working at a certain rate to digest the food that you're used to eating. However, if you're like overfeeding yourself, your body has to like run a little bit more. It actually spikes your metabolism a little bit depending on like where you're at. If you're dieting and then here you are like overeating, your body has to work a little bit harder. So your metabolism actually goes up a little bit that night to help digest all the food, but it just goes right back down. So like don't think that like having like this high calorie meal like increases your metabolism, because it kind of does to an extent. If you want to watch the carb cycling video, check that out because that explains that whole concept. And it kind of does to an extent, but at the end of the day, like only to a certain amount, and then overfeeding too much has like the opposite effect. But that's why you do feel hungrier the next day. Your body's just working more hard. Your body's just working harder to burn the food that you've eaten. And that's why why you feel hungry when you wake up the next day. Another question that I got is, do you eat your free meal at night or in the morning? And I personally like to eat it at night for a few different reasons. Number one, I feel like if I eat it in the morning, that hunger feeling is like throughout the rest of the day. Number two, it's also a little bit more difficult to stay on track the rest of the day when you've already eaten, like maybe you had like waffles and like syrup and like sugar for breakfast, and like you feel like you're like, you know what, I already had this for breakfast, and that little like thought in your head kind of starts rolling where you're like, you know what, maybe I can just have this and this and this too, and then you end up overeating way more than you wanted to. So what I recommend is to have it, like try having it at night if you can. I recommend like keeping your normal eating habits during the day, drinking plenty of water, having plenty of fluid, getting a good workout in if you can. I also recommend like eating your normal amount of like food, but maybe like don't add peanut butter, like keep portion sizes normal, maybe a little bit smaller. Like lowering calories during the day for that particular day isn't the worst idea. So you can just feel excited about your meal at night, eat it, and then just go right to bed and like don't stress about it. Just enjoy that like night and that meal with other people too. It helps to like be social with it. So another question, how often should you have them? How often do I have them? When I was prepping, I honestly never had a cheat meal. I think I had one because my body was so depleted that it was like, I need more calories. Like I just need more. And that actually did really well for me. But at the end of the day, refeeds actually do a really good job. Refeeds and carb cycling, you can watch that video, do a really good job at like spiking your metabolism enough to continue your fat burning hormones to produce. But I didn't really have them too often because I don't like the feeling of like that extra freedom where it's like, oh, like I get to eat whatever, and then it's a struggle for a lot of people, honestly, to like just have this freedom and then like be really like regimented with their freedom, because it's not easy for people to just see like you can eat whatever you want but keep it moderate. it's not like a good mental thing, and then here you are, you don't really get to eat a whole lot during the week, and then all of a sudden you're given all this freedom and you're like, I get to eat whatever I want, and then you eat so much and then you feel bad about it the next day. I preferred having like tracked refeeds or high carb days or whatever, because it was still regimented, it still made me feel good. However, now that I'm not prepping for a show, it's been 7 weeks in my cut, and mentally I know, because I have had time under tension, which means I've had practice with this so much where I know when like I just want it and when I actually need it. For me, I noticed that I was kind of getting like annoyed with my macros, and I was just like, oh, like I want more of them, and I would start like picking at Brian's food and stuff like that. And that's when I kind of knew like, okay, maybe I just need to mentally reset a little bit and physically reset, and I was getting a little hungrier, I was getting like a little bit demotivated, and I knew that I had to lower my calories, and like again, like I told you guys before. So that's how I mentally knew. For you, you just have to really truly be honest with yourself and like remind yourself like, do I really need this or do I just want it? And again, and for me personally, like I don't spend that much time with people, like I guess my lifestyle that I have right now. I don't really have too many friends that like are constantly pressuring me to go out or go out to eat. I do live a lifestyle, and flexible dieting allows me to go out to eat whenever I can, whenever I need to, whenever there's an event. I never say no because I can like make something fit my macros and it's all good. But I also don't live a lifestyle where like every single day or whatever I'm being pressured to go eat, or people are like, you should get this and you should eat more, you've been dieting forever, like you deserve it. Or like I used to feel all that stuff in college, like 5 out of 7 days of the week I was being pressured to go drink, and I don't really like drink that much. But some of you live that lifestyle, like some of you like have friends that don't track their food or like don't like do fitness yet, which is totally fine. Like you're at that spot where you want to stick to your goals. But again, it just truly depends on your lifestyle and what's going to work best for you. Not what I do, what works best for you. So in order to answer the question, how often, I would recommend if you're just cutting for life like I'm doing right now, maybe like once or twice during that cut is a good idea to kind of like mentally reset. So I'm going to give you 6 general rules for having an untracked meal, when to do it, how to do it, all of that stuff. So rule number 1 is satisfy yourself. Get what you want, but remember, your eyes are likely bigger than your stomach. So it's get what you want, satisfy yourself, but don't like plan on overindulging. Like just get something like kind of moderate and then eat it and see how you feel. And then if you truly feel like you want more or need more, go ahead and do that. But just try to like plan for something moderate to like really good that's still satisfying. Number 2 is to drink plenty of water, and then even take a digestive enzyme too. Like your body might not really like connect with the meals and the foods that you're eating as well as it does with your normal foods. So drink plenty of water to minimize bloating, because the more water you can drink on a meal that you might be eating a higher sodium meal, the better you might feel a little bit better and less bloated the next day. And also a digestive enzyme to make sure everything's running smoothly. Number 3, have a plan. What are you gonna get? Where are you gonna get it? Who are you gonna go with? Just plan it out. Number 4, plan out your next day. So don't just like have the next day and be like, what do I do today? Maybe I should just keep going because I just fucked up or whatever. No, have a plan the next day. Plan to get back on track, plan your cardio, plan your training, all that stuff. Number 5, I wouldn't recommend weighing yourself or like checking the mirror to like see where your abs went, because they're not gonna be there the next day, and you're probably gonna weigh more the next day because you just overate. So that just like don't do that. Like I always tell my clients, like don't weigh yourself for like at least 4 days after you have like an untracked meal, because it's gonna be off, it's gonna be up, and you don't wanna just make yourself feel bad because of that. That's gonna increase your guilt. And you don't need that. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. So just don't weigh yourself or do any of that. Wait until like a week later. And number 6, add one in when you really need it, not just when you really want it. And finally, last question is from Lacey Faith and Fit. What's your favorite free meal? And for me, I always usually go with like a burger, fries, and like ice cream or something like that, because that hits all my favorite things, aside from cookies, but I can't really control myself that well with cookies. Ice cream is fine. But recently I've been like, I don't really eat red meat that much, and like I've been kind of, last time my stomach just wasn't really happy with me after I had the burger, so I'll probably opt out of the burger next time and just have like the fries and the ice cream. I don't know, something like that, but I love a savory sweet combination. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed the info video. I hope it helped to ignite your fire in your fitness journey and help you keep going with some more tools in your back pocket to help you succeed. And that's truly my goal here. So if you guys enjoyed it, smash that thumbs up button. Again, it helps me to share this video with more people who might like it, need it, want it, and enjoy it as well. So thank you guys so much. I'll catch you